All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon at Comerica Park. Here's a quick rundown of how today's press conference will work. We'll begin with opening remarks from Tigers Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations and General Manager Al Avila, and President and CEO of Ilitch Holdings, Christopher Ilitch. Following those remarks, we'll have a photo opportunity and then a few remarks from the Tigers' new manager. We'll then have a Q&A. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Tigers Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations and General Manager Al Avila.
Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. First of all, I'd like to thank Chris Ilitch and everybody for being here on this exciting day for the Detroit Tigers. And I'm proud to announce that after an intense search and a long process, we have hired to be our manager, Ron Gardenhire, today.
Thanks.
We interviewed many highly quality candidates over the last few weeks, but Gardy's track record of experience and success has really stood out from the pack. And we would also like to welcome his wife, Gardy's wife, Carol, who is here with us today. Oh, over here. As many of you know, we place an importance on hiring a manager that possesses a great deal of experience, and Ron clearly qualifies for this. After managing against us for 14 seasons, it's going to be nice to have him on our side of the dugout and run our clubhouse and run our games. And we're very excited to have him here with us today. Among the many benefits of working with the Detroit Tigers is the ability to be advised by many great minds here. And I'd like to thank some of them that are here today. In Al Kaline, not here today, Alan Trammell, Willie Horton, David Chad, John Westhoff, Dave Littlefield, Scott Bream, and several others that helped me along the process. There's much work to be done, and we're continuing to rebuild this ball club and our organization. And Gardy's here today to help through those steps for the next 3 years and hopefully beyond, and helping us get back to the World Series. So, and after that, I'll just turn it over to Chris right now.
All right. Well, thanks, Al. Good afternoon, everybody. This is a very exciting day for the Detroit Tigers, and on behalf of myself, the Ilitch organization, I'd like to welcome Ron Gardenhire to our organization as the 38th manager of the Tigers through history. We welcome Ron's wife, Carol, as well, to the Tigers family. You know, this franchise has begun a significant transformation over the last few months, and bringing Gardy on board is a very important step towards getting back to competing and winning World Series championships. I'd also like to take this opportunity to commend Al Avila and his baseball operations staff for guiding this search process with such a steady hand. It's been swift, but it's been thorough. And I couldn't be more pleased with the results. Ron has a proven track record of success managing and really leading both young and veteran players, which we believe is important as we move forward. All of us with the Tigers are really looking forward to the passion, to the experience that he brings with him to the ballpark each and every day. Thank you.
Photo opportunity on the dais with Christopher Ilitch, Al Avila, and Ron Gardenhire.
Feels pretty good.
Fits good, right?
Yeah, it fits good. It will.
Schmenkel did a good job.
Pardon me? Get tighter? All right. Very nice. Hold that hat. All right. I just leave this on. It feels pretty good.
a few opening remarks from new Tigers manager Ron Gardenhire.
So I speak now? It's a pleasure. I'm kind of honored here. It's something that is very special to me. This Central Division that I've been in, I've been here, battled here against this team for a long time. Always respected it. Jim Leland and I were good buddies, one of the managers that I talked to an awful lot. Tampering was one of his favorite things to do, and he told me, when I leave, I want you to manage here. He did that a lot, and I loved him for it. And getting this opportunity means everything to me. I've set out for a couple of years, last year with the Diamondbacks, which was a special thing for me. He took care of me. I got a little bit sick, had a little cancer, got well, and they stood behind me the whole time, so I appreciate that organization giving me that chance. And obviously with the Twins for all those years, I was very lucky to have a team keep you around. But this is a new start for me. I believe that I can run a baseball team. I've always felt that. I've always felt comfortable being a manager and running the team. And so I don't feel there's anything that I haven't been through with the Twins organization. I went through the good times and some bad times. We developed all along through the process. And so I look forward to all the challenges that we have here. And again, I'll let you guys ask questions, but more than anything else, this is a very special time for my wife and I and my family. They're very excited. They like another uniform in the house, a different color, the whole package. They're excited about that. But more than anything else, I wished I could show you folks my phone. It's been a real cool thing having everybody fire bullets at me and texting me and all those things. It's pretty neat. So I'm very excited to be here, and I look forward to the challenge.
All right, at this time, we'll open it up for questions from the media. We do have two microphones floating around the room, so if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Before you ask your question, we do ask that you identify yourself and your media affiliation.
Chris McCoskey, Detroit News. Ron, do you see any similarities between what you're about to embark on here with this rebuilding phase and what you went through, any specific ones, and were there any trepidations maybe because of what you're going to be facing here in the next year or so?
I'll start out. Can you use smaller words than trepidations? All right. I am from Oklahoma. All right. So let's go easy here and lightly. I know what it means, but I don't really like to think about things like that. You know what? We went through those things with Minnesota. I was a coach under Tom Kelly from like 91 all the way through whatever 2001. And it was a constant. You know, we were changing. We were a smaller market, and it was a constant developing, teaching, trying to rebuild and get you back to where you want to be. And then as a manager, it was a constant change. We lost a lot of our players through free agency. So all these things that we're talking about here, I've seen. I've been through it. And I think that's the greatest part of the game is being able to teach. And whether it's start over or just add on, that's the game's a constant change. Everybody changes. And I felt like Rocky right there. Didn't he say that in a movie? Everybody changes. Sorry. My mind goes out. So anyway, it's one of those things that I enjoy, and I look forward to this. It's a challenge, and if you don't like challenges, you know, you probably shouldn't be in baseball because there's a lot of them. So I look forward to this.
Anthony on the left.
Anthony Fennick, Detroit Free Press. Ron, welcome. Congratulations on the opportunity.
Thank you.
From your perspective, what is the biggest key in managing a young team like you have here?
Well, we talk about, you know, the fundamentals. Obviously, those are simple things, easy words, but I think it's paying attention to the details in everything you do, whether it's, you know, simple talking with a guy during a fundamental session or whatever, all kinds of baseballs. Communication skills come into play. You have to be able to talk to these kids. You want them to ask questions openly, so it's being there for them and in front of them, and also if we screw something up, making sure we just don't let it go. We talk about it, and we try to understand what we think is right and wrong. And also, it takes a heck of a staff. You have to have good coaches around you that will do the same thing. The manager's involved in a lot of things, but more than anything else, I think, you know, with young players, sure, you might have some tough love for them every once in a while, but you're going to end up patting them on the back an awful lot when they do well. So it's very important that they see both sides.
Katie?
Ron,
Yes.
over here.
On the right.
Where's that?
On the right.
On the right.
Right here.
Okay, there you
Katie
are.
Strang with The Athletic. Just wondering what you would say your comfort level is with analytics, and also what sense you've gotten from the Tigers about how much that will be incorporated in the future.
Well, honestly, I just went through the analytic department, and I told every one of those guys I love them because they're going to help me, and everybody needs help with it. And fortunately for me, this last summer with the Diamondbacks, I got involved in it. I actually saw it working firsthand. I saw all the information, so it's actually I can see, and I did see how much is out there. I don't know if it's new knowledge, but it's sure put in a lot of different way, and it makes a lot of sense. So it was a lot of fun, is what I'm trying to get to, and I
The first
enjoyed
department
it.
you walked into was the analytics.
Absolutely. They sent me right in there. Al and them right away. They said, I want you to meet these guys and girls. And I went, okay, there we go. So I told them I love them, and I can't wait to start working with them. And you know what? We talk about old school, whatever, new school. I don't mind being called old school because we all learned to play baseball old school. But we also know there's a lot of new ways out there, and if you stop learning, you're probably screwed. So I don't want to be screwed, so I'm not going to stop learning. I'm going to keep doing the right thing, and that's learning the game of baseball and all kinds of different ways to play it.
On the right with Jennifer.
Was that legal?
Ron, over here next to Kate,
Okay, where's that at?
right over here, where you were a
Okay,
minute ago.
There we go. Oh, my bad.
Jennifer Hammond, Fox 2 Detroit, welcome.
Hi, Jennifer.
I'm curious to know if you've made any decisions about your staff, how soon you'll move on that, and if you plan on retaining any of the gentlemen that have been here in the past.
You know, that's something that Al and I will get together and talk about as we go along here. We're not there yet. That's a very important piece of the equation. You surround yourself with people that, have your back, but also know the game and respect the game and not afraid to state their opinion. This is about teaching, and we're going to have some young players with some veterans, and we need a very good staff to get through these things. And so it's not something you just step out there and say, I want this guy, this guy, this guy. We're going to go over a lot of people. If I could show you my phone right now, I can tell you how many people are looking for a job. I thought they were just friends, but I know that they want to be more than friends.
Back on the left here with Anthony.
Al, can you take me through the process of how you got to making the offer, and was there an impetus to move fast because there were other teams also looking for a manager?
No, all along I was hoping that this is the week that we can bring this to a conclusion. As I mentioned to several of you guys and girls, that we started with 47 names, and I have the sheets to prove it. I mean, these guys, they all saw it. And we made a lot of phone calls, a lot of questions to a lot of baseball people throughout the country. And it was exhausting, hours and hours of phone calls. Not only me, but guys like I had mentioned, Dave Littlefield, Scott Bream, David Chad, Alan Trammell, anybody that we knew in baseball, we called on to find out about different candidates. We whittled it down to 12, and it came down to 10. We ended up interviewing all 10. The process started early, right after this, the last 3 days of the season, carried it through in Lakeland, and then brought it back here for the final interviews. And then really, Ron here was the last guy we interviewed, and right then and there, we felt that we had our man. And my hope was that he would join us and not somewhere else. We made the offer just the day before yesterday, and yesterday I called him because he had gone to Boston, came back from Boston. I gave him the day, and I called. I said, have you made a decision yet? And then he said, well, he'd like to be here. And I said, well, we'd like to have you. And so I called his agent. We started talking, and then I called Ron. Yeah, it's always fun to talk to agents. But anyway, obviously John Boggs, who I've known for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, he was Adrian Gonzalez's agent when I drafted him #1 in the nation many, many years ago. So We talked some there, and he negotiated well for Gardy. And then I called Gardy. I said, "Well, do you want the job?" And he said, "I'll take it." And then that was it. And then we moved quickly to get this press conference going, and so we can move forward in hiring our staff.
I guess a follow-up to Ron. Had you heard back from Boston at all after your interview? Did you know what your status was with them before taking this job?
I had Bogsy call him as soon as I found out that there was an offer coming in from Al. I asked Bogsy, I think that's the right thing to do is let them know that there's something coming out there, and I was going to definitely talk to him about it. So I thought Boston should know that. They weren't ready to make any kind of moves right now. They were still in the process. So, you know what? I had a great interview with Al and a few other people. Mr. Al Kaline was there, and Alan Trammell and David Chad, I believe, was there, and a few other people. And we had it was a really nice sit down, and I felt very, very comfortable there. Not to say I didn't with Boston; they were great people also. But you know what? I've known this Central Division. I've been in it. It feels good here, and like I said, all the respect that I've had for this fan base and this organization wasn't that hard of a decision, really. And I told my wife that right from the get-go, that I hope they do make me an offer.
And a quick question for Chris. This is your first managerial hire as well. What was your input in the process?
Well, you know, Al and I, we communicate on a regular basis, really throughout the whole year. And Al, you know, was very swift in getting this process started, as he just outlined for you, very thorough. He kept me updated along the way. We had a lot of conversations as he was meeting various candidates, and you know, earlier in the week, he really felt that he was looking forward to his meeting with Ron, and as he outlined, had a good interview, and we talked a lot about it afterward. Sort of outlined some of the things that Al was looking for, some of the things that Ron brings to the table, and of course I had an opportunity to sit down with Ron and Carol. We had a nice conversation. Although you talk about analytics, he asked me what my WAR was. I was like, do I have a WAR? And then I told him, I didn't want to scare him, but I said, you know, I did coach my son's baseball team. It was assistant coach, though, so no worries. But no, Al's kept me informed the entire way, and it's been a really good process. I'm very, very pleased that how fast and swift it's gone, yet how thorough it's been.
I think we have a question from the right side of the room.
Yeah, Bob Wanowski from the Detroit News. Just kind of a follow-up for Christopher. This franchise enters a rebuilding process, what were the main characteristics or ingredients you were hoping to get in your manager?
Well, I would say first and foremost, we are working to build a organization that will compete consistently for World Series championships. I am very committed to winning, much like my father was. I had the tremendous fortune to be with him and alongside him as he built a couple of championship teams, you know, over the last many decades here, and I think it's done through fundamentals. Anything that's built and built well is built from the foundation, and it grows from there. And undoubtedly, you know, the manager is a key leadership role in building an organization that's going to be in a position to consistently compete for World Series championships. And so I'm thrilled with the work that Al did through the search process, where he landed in terms of a recommendation of Ron and Ron's acceptance. And I think we got a great man here to lead our organization in our pursuit of World Series championships.
All right, here in the middle with Jeff.
Hey, Ron. Hey, guys. Jeff Rager, 97 Win the Ticket. Hey, Ron, you've obviously managed in a lot of games, a lot of big games as well, and you've been part of a rebuild as well. Knowing this was a rebuild, did it make you think twice, like, at this stage of your career, if you wanted to go through another rebuild?
I'm only 59, dude.
Not calling you old.
Oh, okay. I'll be 60 in 4 days, though. You know what? No, it doesn't bother me at all. It's about talking with Al. Like I said, the respect for this organization and the things that we talked about. I've been there. I've done them, and I think that's what they were looking for. I felt that. They were looking for somebody that's been there and done it, and there's not going to be too many surprises for me. So, yeah, it's about finding new talent, making these players understand, how we're going to pay attention to all the details and do all those little things, which I've done my whole career. It's all we've ever talked about. So this is a good thing, and it really never bothered me whatsoever. I've had a lot of my buddies going, "What are you doing? You want to get your brains beat out?" No, I don't want to lose. And who's to say we have to lose next year? Who's to say? Baseball's a great game, and a lot of things can happen. So I'm going to go in there thinking we're going to kick some people's, I'll say, butt.
Well, speaking of that, obviously, what are your views from afar about your star, Miguel Cabrera, what happened last year, and I guess your early impressions on how to get a guy like that back on track?
Well, in the first place, I don't really know a lot of what happened. I saw you on TV. Remember, I was in Arizona. Those time zones were so screwed up that, we didn't get to see too much. We were on the field during the game times where you guys would be playing, and so it was a little different. But I know of his injuries. I know all those things. I know this. He's one of the greatest players to play the game. And if we keep him healthy and out on the field, I've firsthand witnessed him mutilate our baseball team too many times. So I would like to keep him healthy and a couple of veterans and get them on board with how we're going to go about playing the game and do some things. So, but more than anything else, I know when he's healthy, I know what he can do. And I firmly believe that we keep him that way. We're going to have some fun working around him and using him as our leader.
Got time for one or two more questions. I think we had a question on the right side of the room with Chris.
Sort of piggybacking off that last one, your teams in Minnesota, there was a blueprint about those teams. You knew a Ron Gardenhire team when you saw it. Has that changed a little bit with your experience in Arizona? You're 2 years out of the game. Has that changed at all, or do you still see this being similar to how you built those Twins teams in terms of style of play and such?
Well, that's a tough question because I haven't really had the opportunity to see this club play a lot and what they have, but I have read, a bunch of stuff on them and all those things. But I know how they played here. They just bashed the ball. They beat the crap out of you, and they had great pitching. And I know for a fact that when you have pitching and you catch the ball, you always stand a chance. And you put some hitters in there like Cabrera and them guys. So, you know what? You start with the basics, and you know what? I believe this club, we can do that with this club. I've seen some of the talent. I've talked to scouts and saw some of the talent in the lower minor leagues that are very good players. And, we'll work our way through that. So, you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited to get to know this group, get to know this organization, the staff in the minor leagues, and see what we have in common and go from there and get their feed on everything. So there's a lot to be done here, and this has happened pretty quick, but your mind starts spinning. But I'm very excited about this. I think, you look for challenges, as I've said before, and this is a challenge, but it's baseball, and I know baseball, and I look forward to this.
One more question? Jason on the right.
Gardy, Jason Beck with MLB.com.
Jason.
With everything you've gone through health-wise over the last year or so, was there ever a point where you wondered if you wanted to manage again? And did what you've gone through affect how you look at managing or how you look at life?
No, I don't know if it was whether I think it might have been whether I was going to get a chance to manage again more than whether I wanted to. After I got fired, I took that first year off, and then I took a job with the Twins as a special assistant. I got back in the dugout in the minor leagues hitting ground balls, and I knew that I still had that intensity. I knew I still had that fire inside of me. It was hard for me to be sitting there watching a game in the minor leagues and not start giving signs. So I knew that I had that feeling still, and you know what? That never leaves you. That passion for baseball never leaves you, and I never had doubt that I can do a job. So it was hard. It's a big word, and a lot of people in here probably have gone through the same thing when you hear that cancer word. That's a big word, and I took a step back and said, wow. I have great doctors up in Minnesota that took care of me. We got this thing, done. I had to lose a lot of weight. Sitting in that manager's chair, I got up to 275 pounds, and I'm back down to about 235, 232, somewhere in there. So I had to take care of myself to get myself back in shape to be able to do these things. And you know what? I've worked very hard to get here, and I'm looking forward to this.